Welcome to Fantasy Baseball, Baseball, Baseball. I'm Dan O'Day along with Steve Romano. Hey, Steve.
How's it going, Dan?
Great, because we are about to talk about the Field of Dreams head to head 14 team league that you and I are in.
Yeah, on Yahoo, we've been having a good time. It's a great league, super competitive and very active.
It is. It's very active, and we had some big victories this week, and we should just get right into the action. You know what? Selflessly, we'll start with my matchup since I'm talking, Steve. And this week, I had a really tough matchup. 6-4, I won against Lollygaggers. But the beginning of the week, I was down, and it was really actually a very close matchup. Lollygaggers, of course, behind in the standings, but gave me a very tough battle this last week.
Oh, good for them. Because going into that looked like an easy one for you.
Well, get this. It was 6-4. The runs were 27-18 me, 8-5 me, 29-25 me, three stolen bases to one. The batting average, Steve, was 277 to 277.
What were
But
the
Mighty
odds of that?
Lollygaggers took it. I don't see the next number on the Yahoo. So so they took it. They were higher. And then in pitching, I won 4-2 and wins 1-0 in saves. But Lollygaggers took strikeouts, ERA, and whip 68 to 60, 3.40 to 4.62, and 1.28 to 1.38. Lollygaggers, Lollygaggers gave me a tough battle. I mean, at the beginning of the week, I was starting to worry. I had some good play on the end of the week, and I picked up some good players, which we'll review later, that helped me out.
Yeah, it looks like the Lollygaggers had some good pitching. Didn't luck out with the wins as well as you did. But you really can't count on wins anyway. You just can try to project someone being a good pitcher.
Yeah, you really can't project it all on the wins. You just, you'll get one out of the blue from somebody. You'll get somebody who pitched a great game, who got one but they didn't get what I'm saying, like 8 innings shutout ball, but they don't get the win. So you just can never really predict wins. So we're going to your matchup next, Steve. And I was just looking. That's why I got distracted because you also won against your bud, the Bellingham Bells. You won 6-3.
Yeah, I had a good week. Early throughout the week, I mean, I was pretty much in the lead the whole time. Oh, there was one day actually, I think it was 5-5 at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, I mean, my offense was pretty awesome, and I had
Well,
good pitch. I had a good week.
you had a very good week. I mean, you had 35 ribbies to his 27 and 12 homers to six, but you had 29 runs to his 28. So that was very close. That could have been easily changed. Three stolen bases.
Yep,
You had zero stolen bases, Steve. That's your coaches need to start sending the players, Steve. And then the average
I
was
agree.
291 to 208. You won. So you did win 4 out of 5 offensive categories. And the innings pitched, you had 72 and he had 70, and 6-6 in wins.
Yeah, and I got one on Sunday. I looked, and he didn't have anyone starting on Sunday. And I had one guy. I picked someone up. I threw both of them, and I got a win. But I also had one of those two. Well, one of them pitched a gem, and the other one got blown up. So I kind of lost ERA. I went into Sunday with an ERA, I think, a 2.98.
Oh, you did.
So
I was about to say maybe that's why Bellingham Bells didn't start anyone. They won ERA 3.18 to 3.25 for you, and they also won WHIP 103 to 1.26.
yeah, so I lost the ERA battle on Sunday, but then I took away and tied the win battle. So,
That's a
but
good
yeah,
matchup,
good.
though. Yeah, that's
Good for
close.
me. My team's been winning lately. I'm on an upswing. I think I was 4-1 in the no, I was 1-4 in the first 5 weeks of the season, and now I'm 4-1 in the last 5 weeks of the season.
Well, that was a close matchup, Steve. You had 66 strikeouts to 64 for Bellingham Bells. I mean, you think about it: two more runs, three more Ks for the pitching, one more win, and they've won six to
And they're up,
four.
and they went, and they, yeah, 5-4, sure. And one more win, they could have made it 6-3.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, sure.
So it was a very good matchup. Very good matchup indeed. Next, we're
Yeah,
going to go down to the next matchup, and that's number 4, Baltimore Chop, with a very decisive victory against Lumber Company, 9-0.
9-0 is yeah. That's a biggie. Baltimore Chop has been on the upswing too. They've been rising. Lumber Company having a rough year. I mean, they're just having a rough year.
They are having a rough year in the batting category. Chop took all five. Um, the one category they was tied was the save category, 1-1. Looking at all the stats, average 286 to 279. That was pretty close. Ribbies 34 to 32. That was pretty close. So there was a few categories that could have been taken by Lumber, but Chop with a decisive victory. And those are the kind of victories, Steve, that really moves your team up.
Yeah, a 9-game swing in 1 week. Yeah, that's massive.
Well, Chop, I'm looking off last week. Chop going into that matchup through the week was ranked eighth. We will see where Chop is ranked soon or now. But that was a big, decisive victory for Chop. And Lumber, like you said, having a tough year.
Yeah, they've been towards the bottom.
They're
And,
staying
I
active,
mean,
though. They had a lot of innings and at bats there, so good for them. This matchup was very close. The next matchup, this was an actual SoCal Stuffers 5, Juiced Up for Summer 4.
juiced up for summer, which, had started out running the league for the first 4 weeks or so, but they've lost a few and they've run into some stiff competition.
And going into that matchup, SoCal Stat Stuffers was ranked ninth, and Juiced Up for Summer was ranked third, just to let you know. But now it is different, and that was also a close matchup in a couple categories. The run category, Juiced Up for Summer, took 38 to 37. Home runs was 12 to 12. So they were tied there. The Ribbies was 40 to 34. Stolen bases 2-1. An average one pretty convincingly by Juiced Up for Summer, 309 average at 254. And then the pitching, SoCal Stat Stuffers took 4 of the 5 pitching categories.
Yeah, they threw 8 more innings. That's not drastic though, but
Not
they got two
drastic.
more
It's not
wins.
drastic. But yet, once
Two
again, I always love it. The team with less innings won the K's 59 to 46.
Yep. That's like, yeah, like going back to the predictable or projectable. 59 Ks in 57 innings, very nice. 46 Ks in 65 innings, not that nice.
Yeah, a very close matchup. It could have, it could have been 5-5, another home run. So that was a nice matchup, a 5-4. I like that one. And then our next matchup is Mr. Awesome's Momo's 9-1 victory over IP Tigers.
9-1. Sheesh.
That was a big
Well,
one.
Momo's, you know, Momo has having a good year. They had a good year last year. Um, IP Tigers has really just kind of struggled lately. They were kicking
They were
ass for a
doing good
while
early
too,
on, if I
weren't they?
remember correctly. Yeah.
Matter of
Momo's
fact, I'm
was
gonna
fifth going into that matchup, and IP Tigers was 12th. So that
one,
has
two, three,
changed
four,
things.
five.
IP Tigers still 12th.
Yeah,
Mr. Austin Momo is now third. So 9-1
it was
victory. Let's
early.
check it out. Let's check it. It was early. You
Er,
just looked it up. Yeah.
Early in the season, IP Tigers first 3 weeks, they were looking good, but they've they've been struggling for a while now. They had a in week 7 they lost 0-10.
So those big losses is really what's killed them. I mean, right? I mean, the 4-5 loss
Yeah,
is definitely different than a 1-9 loss.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. But
if
yeah,
you have a 1-9 loss and a 0-10 loss, I mean, then all those 5-4, 6-3 wins, they're not really doing much for you. I mean, you know what
absolutely.
I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. They don't do anything. It kind of evens it out, or do they? So the 9-1 win, they Momos took everything but saves. 4-2, IP Tigers took, and then there was a couple close categories. Strikeouts was 52 to 51, Momos. So there was a category that's pretty close, and runs was
Yep.
31 to
Very
27. Close enough. So, but Momo's dominating victory, 9-1.
Yeah,
Ne- Next up, we
dominated.
have yeah. Mimosas always have a good team. Sometimes they were a little higher earlier. They came down a little. They're playing well again. Next, we have the Atlanta Braves and the Creek Expos. And the Atlanta Braves are the cream of the crop. They took this 8-2. There are a couple of storylines for this. Um, Runs 35-32, that was close. Home runs 8-7, that was close. Atlanta Braves won both of those. So two close categories right there. 31 ribbies to 23, Atlanta Braves. But stolen bases, Creek Expos took 6-5. And Creek Expos took average 313 to 251.
Braves are on a heater.
They are on a heater. Now, the interesting thing that is, Atlanta Braves actually posted about this, interestingly enough. And happened to see the post. Atlanta Braves was said it didn't matter this week. It did not matter. My pitching did well, but if I got hit hard, you don't have the minimum innings pitched. Um, and then I looked, and indeed, Creek Expos came up a little short in this matchup.
Oh, really?
Yes, they only had 24 innings,
Oh, that's a bummer.
but they didn't lose because of that. Atlanta Braves did beat them 5-3 in wins, 4-3 in saves, 50-16 in Ks, 2.76 to 3.75 ERA, and a 0.87 to 1.17 WHIP. That's a good WHIP, 0.87 in 42 innings by the Atlanta
Yeah, it
Braves.
is.
Yeah, it is. But
Well, not only,
so they would have won all five categories anyways, but they would have forfeited all five if, like, for instance, so they had two pitchers go in the late game. They had two of the Cardinals pitchers for Creek Expos were going. I'll get their names real quick. It was O'Brien and Romero. And so I was like, oh, the late
oh,
game,
no.
they could get an inning and they could even get a save, right? And I was like,
Yep.
oh, that would tie saves and I catch up. Neither one pitched. I think one reliever came in, pitched 3 innings. So luckily, Atlanta Braves won them all. But that'd be horrible to see a disqualification, not getting enough innings.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen it, right? I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
No, no, I have not seen it in this
Yeah.
league for sure, for sure. And then I think the only matchup we
Hey,
have
real
left.
quick,
Yes, please.
real quick, with the run that the Braves have been on, because they've been good all year. They've only lost 2 weeks
But
at a
Steve,
point, right?
talk
So
to me about their run.
their run over the past 4 weeks, right? They have a 10-0 win, an 8-2 win, a 6-4 win, and another 8-2 win.
Wow.
So in 4 weeks, they've made up 10, 16, 18, 24 games they've made up in 4 weeks.
Wow. That is big.
Yeah, that,
So all that made things different. Not everywhere, but it did change some slots. Atlanta Braves still in first. Humboldt Crabs in second. Momos is now third. Baltimore Chop is fourth. And Juiced Up for Summer is fifth. And Raptor is sixth. Raptor has 11 and a half games behind the Atlanta Braves. Humboldt Crabs in second, 3.5 back. So there is a top six, but then seventh place currently, Steve. Stony Sliders 12 games back, but only half a game behind sixth place.
yep, just a half game out.
Those Stony Sliders, I'm telling you, yeah, very exciting. We were down low for a long time. I couldn't see. Remember, I couldn't see. I couldn't see the runners in front of me. So it's nice to be in the kind of the thick of things because six, four, five, and six are really all within my grasp. 3.5 games out.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, all of it. Three, even if you want to be realistic, but
Well,
just
Steve, I
making
don't
it
want
in
to. I
the
don't want to
top
get ahead of
six.
myself. I mean, listen, I came in second
Just
last year. I came in first the 2 years before. So obviously, I'm a little obsessed with this game. I do a podcast just because. So I'm definitely hoping my team can get it together. And we have been playing better. What's my run, by the way, Steve?
let's see what your run is.
Yeah, because
The
I know it's
Stony
definitely gotten better because it was not good in the beginning.
Stony Sliders. Well, you went win, loss, win, tie, loss, right? So you were 2-2-1
Yeah.
in the first five. And then you've won five straight in the
Wow.
second five.
Wow.
Yeah. And you went He went 5-4, 7-3, 6-4, 8-2, 6-4.
Wow. So that is, and that's how easy it is. If you can get lucky, get your players putting up some stats, you can easily move up with a few good weeks. Nice to hear. So I'm seventh now, but not too far behind me is SoCal Stat Stuffers and Creek Expos, both 3 games behind me, 15 games out of the lead. So they're eighth and ninth. And right behind them is Big Time Taters, 16 and a half games back of first place, but only 4.5 games behind me in seventh. So, you are also making a little noise, getting a little close. You can almost smell the sauce.
My team's been playing good and I've been gaining, so that's enjoyable enough. I'm
You're moving
just
in the right
sure shooting
direction.
shooting for six. And, to point out, in this league, it is a 20-week season before the playoffs start, right?
Right.
So we just finished week 10. So we're halfway there. We still have half the regular season to go in this fantasy league.
In
10
this
more
fantasy league,
weeks.
right. It's a little different with the head to head and the matchups and the playoffs and everything. Right. It's like not a whole full season. Steve, I believe we missed one matchup. I do not believe we
I
did
think
the
we did.
matchup of the week. Matchup
And
of
we
the week.
definitely did.
Dun, dun, dun. That's the Yahoo has it in a square box if you're using the app. Humboldt Crabs against the Raptors. Humboldt Crabs won 5-4. Very close matchup. Dig this. The runs were 33-33.
Yep.
Always, yeah. Easily could have been a 5-5 matchup. 11-7. Humboldt Crabs took the homers 39-16. Humboldt Crabs took the ribbies. Big difference there. 5-2 in stolen bases and 277-250 in the average. Had 36 more at bats. And then in the pitching category, it was 62 innings to 63 innings, Raptor and Crabs. So very close in some of these categories. Raptor took the wins 5-4, 3-2 saves. Raptor took K's 69-63. Humboldt Crabs took. That was very close. And then ERA and
Yep.
WHIP were easy 287 to 529. That's not a good ERA, right? And 110 WHIP. So 160, also not a very good WHIP. But a very good win, a 5-4 win for Crabs.
Yeah. And if you're going to lose, like Raptor did, losing one game, you'll take that. I
Absolutely.
mean,
It's a win.
they're number 6. They hold the last playoff spot a half game ahead of you.
Well, I want to see something. Raptor actually had 8 innings that last day and had a 7.88 ERA and a 1.7 WHIP. So amazingly, still held on to a lot of those pitching categories. Um, yeah, anything can happen, and we're going to go over that right now. Some of the pickups and stuff. 18 and a half games back is Bellingham Bells right behind you. You guys have now switched spots as we go back to the standings. IP Tigers, Mighty Lollygaggers, and Lumber Company then are 12, 13, 14. And there's a division between 11 and 12.
Quite a big division, actually. I mean, that's a good hefty thing, right? I mean, 8.5 points.
Yeah, for,
That's
for,
like
for 12.
that,
Yeah, it's so there is definitely and there's a couple slots like that. You could say 8th through 11th are kind of in their own little, box of teams that are close. So we have half a way to go apparently. So anything can happen with those standings. And it's always interesting, Steve, what happened with these pickups. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I actually had a couple great pickups this week that helped me. So let's go over the last week's worth of pickups.
transactions.
Transactions. That's what we're talking about. Transactions. We'll go back to May 26th, Tuesday.
Sure.
Sure. I have Cavalli was picked up and Painter was dropped by Momo's.
Cavalli's been on a heater himself, and Painter is like one of those blue chippers who
Yeah, he's a
doesn't
blue
seem to
chipper. He
really.
just had a bad start this weekend against the Dodgers. Hopefully, Momo's
Yeah,
or nobody else picked him
ton,
up. So that's a good drop.
a lot of inconsistency from him.
Yeah, it's a
But
shame.
Cavalli's been on a heater. He's
He
legit.
has been pitching well. I don't know what he did this his last start that Momo's picked him up for. Yates was picked up by me, and Beater was dropped. That's just a release pitcher thing. Lovelady was picked up by Momos, and A. Martinez, the second base and outfielder for the Cleveland Guardians, I believe, was dropped.
Yeah, Martinez has been good so far. Kind of a bit of a revelation, but he has suffered a little bit of an injury. They were going to sit him for a couple of games, and he has cooled off, so I could see where you dump him.
Yeah, yeah, and Lovelady can get you some good pitching every so often for sure. Jeffers was dropped by you. Mirdroth was picked up by Raptor, and Rumfield was dropped. And both those names are guys who can give you some good stats.
Yeah, Madroith. That's how you
Madroy,
say it, right? Chase
thank
Mad.
you for I appreciate that
But
actually.
the one thing for him, I mean, he's supposed to be one of those guys who has a great hit tool and gets on base, but he has no power and no speed. So I'm always wary of those guys in fantasy. In real life, all day. You'll take them on your team all day.
Right, he's
But
always
in
a great play though in
fantasy, I
fantasy.
don't know.
The multi-position player helps him in fantasy a little, I think. Um, Ginn was picked up. He gave me a great start one week. And SoCal Stat Stuffers picked him up and dropped Cantillo. Hoffman, the reliever, was picked up, and Miguel Andujar was dropped by the Bellingham Bells. That little story we were talking about last week, the second place in 2018 Rookie of the Year AL voting. He was dropped. He plays third base and outfield. He had been playing well. I don't know if he still is.
And I don't either, actually. But on the flip side, Hoffman, who was supposed to be great, was struggling, went on the IL, came back. He lost his closer job, but he had like if you sorted by last 14 days, he had looked good, and he recently picked up a second save, I think. So that's why he got picked up for sure. I understand, but then I think he had a horrible,
It's a shame,
like a bad.
I believe he came from the Phillies system, and or at
Yeah, oh
least was
yeah,
on
he
the
was on your team.
Phillies. I think he maybe came from our minors, and I always root for him. He's had some tough luck and pitched some bad games, and that's sad to hear. He blew up. So the Bells
Yeah,
picked up Melton and dropped Bubba Chandler, and but that's an interesting drop because someone's going to pick up Bubba Chandler. Uh,
yeah,
Ray was
Bubba Chandler,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm friends with Trevor. He held on to him. He did not want to drop him. It's kind of like the whatever, the Bradish thing, or Lazardo, these guys where you're like,
yeah,
I can't just drop this guy, can you? And then you're like,
right,
actually, maybe you can. you know?
yeah, yeah. If he's not pitching well, but you could always turn it around for sure. Ray was picked up, and Prielip was dropped. Don't know anything about him by Humboldt Crabs. And then on Thursday, I picked Horowitz up because I needed some offensive stats, and I dropped Jax because he got injured his last start.
I like both those guys, and they've both been playing well, and they both have track records or track records or pedigrees. And yeah,
Well,
I
it was
see
one of
I
those
mean, I
five
understand.
moves. I was like, I'm going to try to get offensive stats on Thursday. And I believe he went 0 for 3 or 0 for 4, so it did not work for me. But it definitely was like one of those five moves, and I'm just like trying to get a few more stats wherever I can. Peterson was picked up. Speaking of guys who can give you stats on a fly on a Thursday, you buy you.
Yeah, I picked that was straight up. I picked up two guys who were playing because I didn't have anybody playing on Thursday travel day.
Absolutely. You picked up Alexander, dropped Batty. And so a couple moves just to get some at bats on Thursday.
Yep.
Then IP Tigers picked up Kolick and dropped Keller. I believe that's the starter, Keller, isn't it? No, he's the reliever. And then Crow was picked up, and Gonzalez was dropped by Bells.
I don't really know much about Coleman Crow,
No, I don't either. Like anything.
right?
Uh-uh. But Bells did that before. Right? When Bells picked up Andahar, I was like, huh? And that's when I found out. I was like, oh, this guy used to be great, And so Bells is on top of
Cole
it. Yeah.
Coleman Crow he's 20. He's only 25, and he was the 841st pick of the 2019 draft by the Angels.
Wow. So obviously he's impressed since that pick.
This is his first year. He got drafted out of high school, and this year is his first appearance in the majors.
Well, good for Crow. I like that story, actually, Steve. I'm pulling for him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ray was dropped by the Crabs. Stoney Sliders picked up reliever Taylor. I don't know why. Give me innings, maybe a save. Horowitz was dropped. Guy picked up for a day. Who's nice to have him out there to be able to pick up, to be honest with you. And then you picked up Palante and dropped Peterson. Needed some
And if you
pitching going in.
remember,
Yeah.
yeah, so that was the guy I picked up. And I'm glad that all worked out this way. I'm not, but at least because it will back up my memory. Um, when someone else picked him up and started him like a week or two ago, we talked about it. And
Rep. We did.
I said, like, oh, I had picked that guy up before too, and he blew up for me, but he worked out for that guy. So good luck. Well, he dropped him, right? Because this is the type of player he is. He's going to
Yep.
get picked up and dropped a lot.
Yep.
So I gave it a shot again on Sunday. Like, well, let's see what I can do. He's the guy I picked up, and he blew up for me, and he made me lose the fucking ERA category.
Ah, those guys on the cusp, they could go either way every start, and that was a bad one. So there's a red alert for any listeners on Palante. A. Martinez was then picked up by you, and Alexander was dropped, as you brought up A. Martinez. I like his dual second base outfield, and actually A. Martinez started the first month or so of the season really hot, but still starting when healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I have him in the Roto League, and in that format with what we going on, he's really not droppable.
Right. In that Roto League, we have
Um,
corner infielder and middle infielder. We have five outfielders and two catchers. So there's a few more starting roster spots.
yeah, and he's just ranked too high to drop. You know,
Yep.
he would have to be colder longer for me to drop. But anyways, because I'm familiar with him, I saw him and I was like, that's a guy I kind of want. Like, if I'm looking for multi-positional bench guys, because I'm only going to have two of them, maybe three at the most, then he's just the guy I'm familiar with, so I grabbed him.
Yeah, the dual position really does help. And he's played well. Ruiz, a catcher, was dropped. Dalton Rushing, a catcher, was dropped. I mean, Ruiz was picked up by the Lollygaggers. Ruiz plays more than rushing, I would say, so not a bad pickup. Lollygaggers then
Yeah,
picked up Rally and dropped Trevor Story. Trevor Story, there's a story, Steve. Trevor Story had a great year last year. Probably drafted in every league, right?
easily.
Easily. And this year, I think this is the second time he's been dropped. Rally, who's been playing well for Seattle, I believe, plays first base and outfield. And Story's still not hitting, is he?
Story's not hitting, and now he's been put on the IL.
Oh, was he? There you go.
So I would bet he was probably on his IL, and then somebody else became an IL person, and he's like,
Right.
oh, well, now I need to
So he
get
was
rid of one of
already on
my
the
IL
IL. I did
person.
not see that in my format. Wow. So there you go. He's just
Yeah,
getting rid of some dead weight. My goodness. And
yeah,
then I picked up
yeah, for
K.
sure.
K is a starter and dropped Severino. And K gave me a great game, Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
another
You
young
want to
White
hear about
Sox
K's
guy.
game? You pick
Sure.
up guys and you're like, you don't know if they're going to be good or not. But I picked up K. I believe was it Saturday or Friday game? For Saturday's game, he gave me 5 innings. He got me a win. He gave me a 1.80 ERA and the 1.40 whip. I'll take. He only had 3 Ks in 5 innings, but I'll take that as a pickup.
Hmm. Yeah, for
I got
sure.
a
Of course you
win.
will.
Yes, and had a good ERA. Absolutely. So I was really happy about that because I like when the pickups work out. I do. I really do. So
He
then, yeah, he's been
Anthony
pitching well,
K.
actually. Yeah, he's pitching well.
He's 31 years old, so it's kind of weird I haven't heard of him. But he
Well,
was a first round draft pick out of college in
wow.
2016,
Interesting.
and it
Interesting.
looks like, oh no, he actually pitched for the Blue Jays from 19 to 22. Wow. Oh, and he
Well,
went to Japan.
oh,
Oh, it looks like he went to Japan for a couple of seasons and reinvented himself and came back as a
reinvented
hitter.
himself in Japan, comes back. I pick him up. He gives me 5 good innings. I love it.
Yeah.
I do. No, that's a great story. He's 31, just really. for the first time in his career having some success in a very decent way. Good for K. Another good story. Burke was picked up. Another starter throwing pretty well, I think, right? And Crow was
for the
dropped
White
by the
Sox.
Bells. Yeah, for the same team. That's
Well,
by the
let's look up
Bells.
again. Why not? Real quick. I don't try
Yeah,
to
let's
take too
look up the
long.
Bells, who's always tapping into these young guys. Burke has been good too, if I remember, without looking.
Sean Burke, he's 26. He was a third round pick out of college. He's pitched for the White Sox for. He made 22 starts last year. And yeah, solid. He was
Solid.
okay last year and he's gotten better this year.
There you go. Not a superstar, but pitches well and a decent cog in the system. So that's nice. These pickups are all Saturday, by the way. Scott was picked up, pitcher for the Mets, I believe. Always a scary start. Lovelady was dropped by Momos. Raptor was
Yep.
picked up Phillips, the relief pitcher, and dropped Nunez, who's a stolen base artist for the Nationals. And then Raptor picked up Leahy and dropped E. Perez. E. Perez is a decent sized name that was dropped at one time, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy who finally was coming back from injury this year. A lot of people were on him as like, because he's coming back from injury, you can get him later in the draft, considering his upside, because he could be a top 10 pitcher because he was before he got hurt. And now he's hurt again, and I think he's going to be out for a long time. So,
oh, so he's probably going to drop him up above. No, E. Perez. Yeah, and he's been on the waivers for a while. He has not pitched well when he did earlier in the season, if
no,
I'm correct.
he's dropping him here. He dropped him for Lely.
Oh, but yeah, but wasn't he dropped earlier and picked up? And dropped and picked
Oh,
up?
yeah,
That's what I'm
yes,
saying.
he
That's what I'm
was.
saying. He's been out
Oh,
there,
right.
and I think dropped and picked up a couple
Yep.
times. Leiter was picked up, starting pitcher as a chance on Sunday morning at 12:23. So really Saturday night. Krabs, I love that 12:23. He's like, I'm up. It's okay. I can pick up another. And Detmers was dropped. Detmers, of course, but Leiter decent. I don't wonder how that worked out for him. And then Miles in the morning at 6:13,
Det-
Sunday morning at
Detmers
6:13. Yeah, Detmers.
Detmers could literally. He's in the running for poster boy of most, drops and ads. He
Wow.
could. He would be there. Like I bet you at the end of the year,
I wish we
if
could
you
look
look
that
at
up.
how many times a starting pitcher was dropped and then picked up by different. He's got to be up there. He
That
will
makes
be, I
sense.
would
I know
guess.
I've read his name a lot. So um, then
He's
Miles
just
was
totally inconsistent. He has these great
he is. He
starts that
has
make
really
people
good
pick him
starts, and
up.
that's why he's picked up. Because you'll look at his game log and you'll see those big numbers for a game or two. Then you go,
Yeah.
oh, but look at that game, and then this game he is good too, like really good. So yeah, but that keeps him active in the fantasy radar of people, especially in
Yep.
head-to-head leagues. That's for sure. Not as owned in roto leagues.
No.
No.
No, but he might be one of. I bet he's probably one of the highest ranked pitchers who's not on a roster. I would guess.
I would bet you're right. I bet you're right. Miles was picked up and Killian was dropped by SoCal Stat Stuffers, and I picked up Littell and dropped K. And you're like, hey man, you just said K gave you a good game. Well, K did give me a good game, but I needed more innings and strikeouts or whatever I thought I needed, and I picked up Littell, and Littell gave me 6 innings and got me a win with 5 Ks, with a 3.00 ERA and a 1.17 WHIP. So there's two good pickups that paid off for me this week.
Wow, not bad, impressive.
It's nice when they work out, right?
You should open a fortune telling booth on the.
Oh, believe me, there's plenty of weeks I could have been like, here's who not to pick. Here's how I picked up, so do the opposite. Um, and then there's a couple picks coming up that I find pretty interesting. We left off on Littell, and then Canning was picked up, and Phillips was dropped by Raptor. Momo's picked up Libertor and dropped Ferrer. Libertor's another guy who's been dropped and picked up, I would think. And
Yeah,
then
probably.
Atlanta Braves picked up Calzer. And at the time, before Atlanta Braves went ahead by more, but at the time, Calzer was paying off. He even said something on the board about this could be the pickup of the week, Atlanta Braves. And I saw it and I laughed and I looked and I went to the box score. Calzer had a 3-run home run and another RBI. So he had a homer and 4 ribbies And I was thinking, that's a good Sunday morning pickup.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Drop,
Kaiser has the ability in him, right? I mean,
well, kind of a
Baltimore
blue
has
chipper,
Baltimore.
right?
Yeah, Baltimore has like their entire team is blue chippers,
Yeah.
but the success rate of them meeting their, reaching their potential is very low.
Yeah. So cows are a great pickup, really paid dividends, helped win those categories easily. Holmes was dropped. Jay Sanchez was picked up by IP Tigers, and Kolick dropped. And wasn't Jay Sanchez the one that got hit by a fan with a ball thrown from the stands?
Oh, yeah, I think he was, right?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think he
know.
was. I'm sure people have seen that. It's been played. And I hope he's okay, but he left the game, I believe. So that was a miscommunication apparently with a fan. Gordon was picked up, and Sabrowski was dropped by IP Tigers. I like seeing
Sobrowski on
IP
the
Tigers
IL.
making all these moves.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I dig it. I dig it. Baltimore Chop added T. Rogers, the reliever, and then you picked up Kiner Falafi and dropped Stott. Pretty similar players in some ways.
I mean, they're you know, I would
So,
say kind of Philip was more of a bum than Stott, but
yes, more of a bum. Absolutely. And he makes you say that
but
long
they
name right there alone. You're like, Kiner Falafi.
but
Yeah,
Stott. I picked up Stott. Like I got rid of Swanson, who was my guy for like 7 weeks. Picked up Stott because he was doing well for a while, but that seems to have passed, and he's back to being stinky. I checked, like, should I go back to Dansby Swanson? Nope, he's been awful, even just as worse, if not worse, since I cut him.
that's a
I was like,
shame.
who's out here at shortstop? I need a shortstop. And I was like, oh well, this guy's been playing good, and for some fucking reason, even though it's the team I follow, the Red Sox, I don't know why he's getting at bats. I really don't, but he is. So I picked him up.
If you need a shortstop, absolutely. Sometimes if that's all that's there, you got to go with. Then Kakanowicz, the starting pitcher, was picked up by Krabs, and Spencer Steer was dropped. There's a guy who really at one time was on everybody's team some years ago. Now plays
Yep.
first, second, and outfield. Has had some good spurts this year, but not good enough to not be dropped for Kakanowicz.
The Reds are a lot like the Orioles in that over the past 3 or 4
Yes,
years,
when it comes to
they've
prospects.
had a they've had a ton of blue chip prospects make it to the majors, and they just haven't turned into what they were expecting.
And then Atlanta Braves picked up Dalton Rushing and dropped Imanaga. And Rushing is doesn't play a lot starting, but when Rushing does play, has hit more than not. We did go into a little bad streak recently. Raptor pick up Wicks, the pitcher, and drop Leahy. And
Yep.
these are all Sunday at 1 p.m. So this is uh, so that was the last pickup before games right there. I would think does play for the Cardinals, doesn't he? I think I'm not. No, not anymore. This pickup I really liked a lot. Sunday night at 11:45, Mead was picked up and M. Kelly was dropped, and I really like the Mead pickup. I've looked at Mead a couple times, first, second, and third. I love those players. I do. And Mead's been playing well and starting.
Yeah, I looked him up myself when I was just seeing who's been hot lately. I think he's like from Australia. Is that the guy I was reading about? He's from Australia.
Mead, oh right, Manny. I'm from Mead. I'm from Australia. I could meet with that name, sure. I could see it. I don't know, but
Curtis Mead.
we'll go with it for this week.
Yes, he's from Australia.
Okay, there
He's
you go. You were
25
right.
years old, and he was signed as an international free agent out of
Wow.
Australia. And he
That's,
played with Tampa Bay for a couple of years, was traded to Washington,
well, Tampa Bay is good with young
and
players.
his numbers have just exploded. Like
Exploded. I
even
wanted to pick him up in both leagues. I would have picked him up this week, but I didn't have any moves left. And when I did have moves left, I was like, I need to save that for a pitcher. So I actually wanted to pick up Mead, but I couldn't. So I was bummed when I saw picked up by the Braves. And the Braves doing a good thing. Sunday night, I'm going to use one of this week's moves for next week. Sunday night,
Yep.
11:45. Well done. And then Monday, Raptor picked up Chandler and dropped Wicks. Bubba Chandler. We were just talking about Bubba. Beater was picked up by Momos. I dropped him, getting some saves. Libertor was dropped. I picked up Jax, who I actually dropped earlier, and dropped Littell, who gave me a good start. So Littell will be picked up by somebody, I'm thinking. And Momos added Peterson, who you dropped.
Yep.
IP Tigers, always busy. I love it. Sandlin and Gordon.
David Sandlin.
Sandlin was picked up and Gordon. You know something about David Sandlin?
He's a good prospect for them who the Red Sox traded, I think, in the Garrett Crochet trade, I think.
Interesting. T. Gordon dropped the pitcher. And then the last pick I've also done today at 2:23. Jay Lee was picked up by the Bells and Hoffman was dropped because Hoffman exploded, like you said, over the weekend, right?
Yeah. Bad number. Bad.
Bad
Crooked.
numbers. Bad numbers. Giving you negative numbers. So this week I am
And
going. Yes.
Jung Hoon Lee, he's been, injured, came off the injured list like scorching. Like it
Yeah,
can't last,
and
but
there's a
he's
guy who was on a
scorching at the
lot of
moment.
rosters in the beginning of the year, right? Wasn't he healthy at the beginning of the year?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. He's
At least
definitely
as someone to stash for
it's
sure.
definitely some upside with him. But then this week, I am
Yep.
taking on the Baltimore Chop. I'm in seventh place. Chop is in fourth. So that's a big matchup. Creek Expos 9 takes on SoCal Stat Stuffers at 8. Bellingham Bells 11 takes on Momos at 5, at 3, at 3. So with 11 against verse 3. Tough matchup for Bells. Lollygaggers ranked 13th, taking on Big Time Taters ranked 10th. Two Stuff for Summer ranked 5th, going against IP Tigers ranked 12th. Atlanta Braves ranked first, going against Raptor, ranked sixth in the matchup of the week. Matchup of the week. And Lumber Company, the 14th place team, going against Humboldt Crabs, ranked second in the standings right now. So some interesting matchups. Maybe we'll see some upsets. Maybe we'll see some close calls. But you know what I love, Steve? I love baseball. I love the numbers. And I love talking about this league, Field of Dreams.
It's enjoyable. I
It is,
love talking about it. I love playing it.
yeah. And sometimes we go too long. Like today, we may have gone too long, but I love talking about everything. I'm Dan O'Day. That's Steve Romano. Thanks for listening. Cheers.
Have a good one.